Welcome to China Gateway, your front row seat to China's growth, innovation, and global connections. Today, we're diving deep into Guangzhou. It's the capital of Guangdong Province, famously known as China's Southern Gateway.
It really is a city that deserves a closer look. When you think Guangzhou, you've got to picture this mix of, well, incredible scale and deep history. Imagine that gleaming Canton tower, spire, soaring right over the Pearl River. It's like a beacon.
Yeah, for global trade, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And below it, these massive cargo ships constantly moving, and all this against, like, super modern boulevards lined with palm trees. It's quite the scene.
And that history you mentioned, it's not just background noise, is it? It really feeds into what the city is today.
Oh, absolutely. We're talking 2,200 years of continuous history here. It started as this key endpoint for the ancient Maritime Silk Road.
That's incredible. 2 millennia.
And what's really fundamental, I think, is this deep-rooted legacy of openness. For centuries, Guangzhou, which people in the West knew as Canton, was, believe it or not, the only port in China officially allowed to trade with foreigners.
The only one. Wow.
Yeah, under the Qing dynasty. That shaped everything. It created this profound culture of interacting with the world.
That's pretty amazing. So for generations, it was the main window into China for the rest of the world.
Pretty much. And even when things got messy in the 19th century, like the Opium Wars and all that upheaval,
right.
Guangzhou, unlike a lot of other places, it never really slammed its doors shut. It kept that connection going.
And that spirit, that resilience, you see it today.
You do. It explains why Guangzhou is so central now, not just geographically, but, strategically. It's a really crucial part of China's Belt and Road Initiative. And maybe more immediately, it sits right at the heart of the Guangdong, Hong Kong, Macau Greater Bay Area, the GBA.
Okay, let's talk about that jump from ancient port to modern powerhouse. Because it wasn't just old, it was also like a furnace for modern China, right?
Yeah, a crucible is a good word. Key figures who drove China's modernization in the 1900s. People like Sun Yat-sen, even Deng Xiaoping.
Yeah.
They actually cut their teeth there, politically and economically.
So that mix old trade routes, new political ideas, it's kind of baked into the city.
It really is. You walk around and you see it. You've got these ancient sites, like the Temple of the Five Immortals, practically next door to some of the most advanced high-tech research parks you'll find anywhere in Asia.
That continuity, trade, and industry, it built the foundation for the economic giant we see now.
Oh, definitely. And when we say giant, we mean it. By 2024, the city's GDP was, about 3.1 trillion RMB?
3.1 trillion RMB. That's huge. Puts it right up there, maybe third biggest city economy in China, competing with Shenzhen, Chongqing.
Yeah, depending on exactly how you measure it. But the point is, that's a massive amount of economic activity packed into one place.
It's more than just big, though. It's like the engine room, isn't it? The core of the Pearl River Delta manufacturing zone.
That's the heartland, that old phrase, workshop of the world. A lot of that was talking about this region, centered on Guangzhou. And even now, key sectors like cars, electronics, petrochemicals, they make up more than half the city's entire GDP.
And the trade magnet thing hasn't faded either. The Canton Fair still happens, right?
Twice a year. It's still China's oldest and biggest trade show. Draws crowds from, over 200 countries?
Tens of thousands of buyers. It's like this huge economic migration event every spring and autumn.
Yeah. So it's no surprise that as of 2021, I think it was 330 of the Fortune Global 500 companies had set up shop there in some significant way.
330, that's serious corporate presence.
And that leads to something really interesting. There was this big survey recently. It found Guangzhou was the most popular city in China for foreign investment, 4 years running.
4 years running. More popular than, say, Shanghai or Shenzhen for attracting that foreign money.
For foreign investment, yeah. Shenzhen gets headlines for tech IPOs, sure, but Guangzhou seems to be winning this long-term loyalty game with foreign capital.
Why do you think that is? Is it just the old manufacturing base? Or maybe something about, stability, bureaucracy?
I think it's a mix. It's got the established supply chains, it's got the infrastructure, maybe a more mature legal framework for these big, complex operations the Fortune 500 types need. It feels reliable.
So
it makes you wonder, doesn't it? For you listening, if you were looking at a major long-term investment in Asia, would Guangzhou seem like the logical anchor point, given that scale and stability?
Good question. And thinking about the future, the city government isn't just resting on that workshop reputation, are they?
No, not at all. They're pushing hard to shift, to move away from that old smokestack city image towards quality and innovation.
So what are the targets?
Pretty clear ones. Advanced manufacturing, AI, life sciences, renewables. That's where they're placing their bets.
And are they actually making progress? Or is it just talk?
Oh, they're definitely reshaping things. Guangzhou is a pilot city for that big national program, Made in China 2025. You know, the one focused on smart manufacturing.
Right, upgrading industry.
And you see the results. High-tech products now make up nearly 60%, 59.3% to be exact, of their total industrial output value. That's a huge share.
Let's zoom in on cars for a second. That sector is massive there.
Enormous. And it's not just assembly lines anymore. They've got a dozen national auto tech centers. They've even got dedicated test lanes just for driverless cars.
Autonomous vehicles on the road already.
Testing, yeah. Plus, it's home base for Guangzhou Automobile Group, GAC. They're a huge player nationally.
And they have big ambitions for cars, right?
Very aggressive goals.
Yep.
They expect auto output, just cars and parts, to hit 1 trillion RMB by 2025. That's massive.
Wow.
But what's maybe even more eye-opening is the money they're pouring into newer fields, especially biotech.
Yeah, I saw that number. They're building a global biomed hub backed by a 150 billion yuan fund.
That's right, which is about, what, US $21.5 billion.
Yes.
Just earmarked to grow that specific cluster.
What does that kind of money injection actually do for a sector?
It creates instant gravity. It pulls companies in.
Yeah.
Right now, Guangzhou's got over 6,500 pharma and biotech firms,
6,500.
including 12 global 500 companies in that specific field.
Right.
And the target for Guangdong province is to get biomed revenues over 1 trillion RMB by 2027.
So this isn't just a city project. It's a regional, even national strategy,
Right.
competing with places like Boston or San Diego.
Exactly. It's strategic industrial policy on a global scale.
Okay, so while they're building physical things and doing R&D, Guangzhou's logistics muscle is also powering the digital side, right? E-commerce.
Oh, yeah. It's become a huge hub for cross-border e-commerce. The numbers are pretty staggering. First half of 2025 alone, online trade coming out of the city hit 90 billion RMB.
90 billion RMB, about 12.5 billion US dollars in 6 months.
Yep. But here's the really interesting part of that data.
Okay.
81% of that trade didn't go to the U.S.
81% went elsewhere.
Where? Major flows into Southeast Asia, the Middle East, Eastern Europe.
That sounds deliberate. Not just random trade patterns. Like they're diversifying, leveraging those belt and road links, maybe?
I think that's exactly it. They're actively helping local manufacturers connect with platforms serving those markets, like Coupang in South Korea, Ozon in Russia.
Okay.
And to make it all flow smoothly, they've streamlined customs at the airport with things like dual pre-clearance.
Dual pre-clearance. Sounds efficient, but what does it actually mean for, getting stuff shipped faster?
Well, basically, instead of separate checks at both ends, a lot of the necessary inspections and paperwork get done together at the Guangzhou end. Then it's passed digitally to the destination country.
Ah, so it cuts down delays and costs?
Significantly, especially for the kind of high-volume e-commerce stuff we're talking about. It just smooths out the whole process.
Makes sense. And that kind of efficiency relies on top-notch infrastructure, which Guangzhou seems to have.
Absolutely, world-class transport links. The airport, Guangzhou Baiyun, is the third busiest in China for passengers.
Third busiest. That's a lot of people moving through.
And the port of Guangzhou, is number 4 in China by cargo tonnage. So stuff gets in and out by sea and air very efficiently.
And the rail. I heard the high-speed rail connections are impressive.
They really tie the region together. You can zip down to Shenzhen or Hong Kong in under an hour. It basically makes the whole Greater Bay Area feel like one connected zone.
Under an hour to Hong Kong, wow.
Yeah, and you can even get a high-speed train all the way up to Beijing in about 8 hours.
That's connecting the south to the capital pretty effectively.
And they're looking even further afield. There's talk of a future bullet train link all the way to Yangon in Myanmar.
Really? Extending that historic gateway role deep into Southeast Asia.
Exactly. It underlines that whole connection.
So, connecting all these dots, the infrastructure, the economy, it really shows why Guangzhou is so central to the Greater Bay Area, the GBA.
It really is the pivot point. You've got this cluster, Hong Kong, Macau, Shenzhen, Guangzhou, and others, with around 70 million people.
70 million people. And a combined GDP of nearly 2 trillion US dollars.
As of 2023, yeah. It's an economic powerhouse region. And Guangzhou sits right in the middle, geographically, and you could argue economically too.
How so?
Well, it provides a lot of the industrial muscle and the massive talent pool that feeds Hong Kong's finance sector. and Shenzhen's tech innovation. It's kind of the backbone.
And the physical links, like those quick flights to Hong Kong or the big Hong Kong-Zhuhai-Macau bridge, they make it all work together.
Yeah, they make the integration pretty seamless in practice.
Okay, let's switch gears a bit. What about living there? Quality of life. That's crucial for attracting talent.
Right. Well, it's a huge city, obviously, 18.7 million people. But it has this nickname, the City of Flowers. Lots of parks.
Nice. And the food. Cantonese cuisine, that's world famous.
Legendary. Plus you have the distinct Cantonese culture. But here's maybe the biggest practical point for businesses looking at the GBA, the cost.
Ah, the cost advantage compared to, say, Hong Kong or Shenzhen.
Exactly. This often gets overlooked. Mercer ranked Guangzhou 71st globally for cost of living.
Yeah.
For a megawattity that big, that's incredibly affordable.
71st. Compared to Hong Kong or Singapore, which are always like top 10 most expensive.
Right. So you're talking housing, food, transport. It can be maybe 50%, even 60% cheaper to live in Guangzhou than in Hong Kong.
50 to 60% cheaper. That is a massive difference.
It totally changes the calculation for the GBA. Guangzhou becomes this huge, affordable magnet for talent within the region.
If you're a company or even just a professional wanting to tap into the GBA market but can't stomach Hong Kong prices,
Guangzhou offers this incredible value proposition. You get access, but with much lower operational costs and living expenses. It's smart arbitrage.
does it have the educational heft to back that up? Universities, schools?
It does. Top universities like Sun Yat-sen University are based there. It ranked pretty well, 110th globally as a student city in 2023. And there are plenty of international schools, which helps attract foreign execs with families.
Okay. And its global profile is catching up too.
Definitely. It recently got ranked as an alpha global city. That puts it in the same league as places like San Francisco in terms of global influence.
Alpha city status.
Wow. And maybe the clearest sign of its international importance, it hosts 65 foreign consulates.
65. That's more than any other city in China except Beijing and Shanghai.
Correct. That tells you that governments around the world see it as a key political and economic hub, not just, a place to make things.
It's a serious global player.
For sure. And looking forward, the city seems really focused on resilience and sustainable development, not just raw growth.
Which is impressive considering its GDP still grew over 2% recently, hitting that 3.1 trillion RMB mark even with global slowdowns. Shows stability.
Yeah, and they're planning for the long haul. Things like climate change resilience. They're building these large eco-belts, basically networks of parks and waterways.
Eco-belts, what for?
Specifically designed for managing floods, which can be an issue, and also to help cool down the huge urban area. Smart urban planning.
And they have climate targets too, right? Low carbon goals.
They do. Back in 2012, they set a goal to peak their carbon emissions by 2020, which they aimed for, and cut CO2 per unit of GDP by 40% from 2010 levels.
How do they actually do that?
Well, through concrete policies, expanding the metro system massively, promoting green building standards, trying to reduce reliance on cars, practical steps.
So this mix of steady planning and future tech focus seems to be working.
The signs are there. Recent indicators from 2024 showed, I think, 24 unicorn startups based in Guangzhou.
24 unicorns, that's serious tech potential.
And you're seeing explosive growth in really cutting-edge fields, semiconductors, drones, robotics. It's not just the old industries anymore.
Okay, so let's try to wrap this up. If you're an international investor and entrepreneur listening to this, what's the takeaway on Guangzhou?
I think the proposition is pretty compelling. You get access to that massive Greater Bay Area market. You've got a huge and increasingly skilled labor force. The business policy seems stable and improving. And it's proven itself as one of China's most foreign-friendly cities.
There's definitely an energy there. You feel that blend of the old trading port always looking outwards with this modern, innovative drive. So the question we kind of leave you with is, when you look at the whole picture of Guangzhou, what really stands out? What's its killer advantage? Is it that deep history, its role today in industry and tech? Or maybe that powerful combo of Cantonese culture and relatively low cost of living compared to its neighbors?
Yeah, something to think about as you weigh your options in the region.
We hope this dive gave you a much clearer picture of Guangzhou and why it really remains China's vital southern bridge to the rest of the world. This is China Gateway, and we'll see you next time, right here where China meets the world.